What if I told you the fate of the universe boils down to one thing? Your emotions. Welcome to the biggest plot twist you never saw coming. This video was inspired by Liz Cross, a gifted psychic who's appeared on my channel previously. Now, Liz isn't your average medium. She can channel almost any entity, dead or alive, real or conceptual. People? Sure. Planets? Yup. Inanimate objects? Somehow, yes. But what really caught my attention was her mind probe into one being that trumps, no pun intended, all others in this universe, and that is Source. Now let's be clear. Source is not God. Source emanates from God, just like we do. Think of God as the infinite wellspring and Source as the head engineer of this particular universe. So while Source is incredibly powerful, it's not the top of the divine food chain, but it is above us, and Liz believes it did create this universe. So that's what makes Liz's mind probe into Source possibly the most important spiritual investigation anyone can do. And what she uncovered? It's absolutely mind-bending. So let's start big. What is Source? Source is the creator and sustainer of this universe. But Source didn't just come into existence on its own. No. It was chosen. Chosen by the Source from the previous universe. Yes, you heard that right. According to Liz, universes come in chains. One completes, locks into place like a cosmic link, and then a new one begins. This universe, our home, is essentially a refined copy of the last one, including Earth. Maybe that's why we call it a simulation. But don't mistake copy for repetition. This one is sealed off, running on its own course with its own battles, namely the eternal war between light and dark. The light and dark forces aren't just metaphors for good and evil. They're energy systems vying for control of the universal chain. Light creates, completes, and advances a chain. Dark, on the other hand, runs parallel. It's always watching, always waiting, never quite completing its link. Its goal? Accumulate enough souls to finally finish its own chain and flip the balance. And this is where you come in. You, me, and every sentient soul out there, we're more than just passengers in this cosmic journey. We are processors. Literal computational units for spiritual energy. According to Liz's probe, souls are fragments of Source, each of us a micro spark of divine potential. Neither Source nor the dark can manipulate or transmute energy directly. Instead, rely on us, our experiences, our choices, our emotions, to generate the energy that powers this metaphysical system. Tom Campbell said something similar. Think of it like this. Life gives us input, joy, pain, love, heartbreak. Man, I know all about it. Our souls process that into spiritual energy, either light or dark. And that energy goes back into the system, feeding one side or the other. Now here's where it gets intense. Earth, it's not just a scenic blue marble in space, it's ground zero in this spiritual power war. Because at heart, that's what this universe really is. According to Liz, it's a power war between light and dark. And we're at the bottom of a pyramid structure. Just souls, struggling, trying to survive this Earth matrix, processing energy that flows upward through the dimensions, powering everything about us. And Source sits at the top of that pyramid. But without us feeding it, it has no power. That's why Earth and humanity are so crucial. And I think that's why some people view Earth as a soul trap. Because in that philosophy, which I delved into extensively with guests like Howdy Mikowski and others, our misery serves as a source of energy for the archons. This energy or food is called Loosh, and it's consumed by a malevolent group housed just outside our dimension. And these beings are often referred to as the demigods or archons, and they have supposedly controlled and oppressed humanity since the beginning of history. Now, I'm not saying this is true. I'm simply relaying how Liz Cross's readings into Source have a sort of crossover with the soul trap idea. Moving on, Liz's probe showed that there had been 5 advanced humanoid civilizations before us, all wiped out. Each time the system rebooted. Why? Because something wasn't working. Humanity keeps getting another shot. We're the current experiment, and the clock is ticking. Interestingly, this coincides with the Matrix trilogy, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. In The Matrix Reloaded, the architect reveals to Neo that Zion has been destroyed 5 times before, making Neo's version the 6th iteration of the Matrix system. And if Liz is correct, then we are also in the 6th iteration of civilization. Here's the direct quote from the architect, just for clarity. "The Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the 6th version." Could it be that the writers of the Matrix movies knew exactly what they were talking about when they wrote the script? I believe the answer is yes. There's way too many truth bombs in the movie, and I still think The Matrix is the biggest truth drop movie of all time. It basically revealed, using great dialogue, action, and story, the plot of our universe. Neo versus Agent Smith is the metaphor for light versus dark. And this one concept is so important to understanding the universe, why events are the way they are, and our place in it. It's a constant battle of good versus evil, and whoever wins in the end may just decide the fate of the next universe. You know, I can make an entire video on this one concept, but alas, time is short and we need to move on. There's a spiritual hierarchy to the universe as well, according to Liz. Archangels are the big picture planners. Angels, well, they're the boots on the ground. They help direct souls and carry out Source's intent, but they never leave this universe. Even heaven isn't the ultimate destination we think it is. It's more like a cosmic lounge where souls recharge before the next deployment. Now that might be a shocker for some people listening to this. But then again, you are watching an Open Your Reality video. By the way, my subscriber count has been jumping around more than a kangaroo on crack. At my peak, I had 155,000 subscribers. Then it dropped to 62,000, then went to 28,000, and the last time I looked, I was at only 16,000. Just goes to show you YouTube can make up whatever numbers they want. Anyway, let's get back to the topic. Liz also described what ETs are in our universe. And according to Liz's channeling, ETs don't have souls. That's right, they weren't created by Source, so they can't process energy the way that we do. They originated from the dark wavelength, a shadow universe running parallel to ours. Now, this is Liz's theory. Without souls, they can't ascend. They're stuck in endless conflict. That's why, from a cosmic perspective, they're not players in the light versus dark game, they're just tools of chaos. Now, let's talk free will. Here on Earth, we love to think that we're in control, making choices every day. But in this framework, that is mostly illusion. Real free will exists before birth when your soul is designing your life. You choose your path, your challenges, and your experiences. Once you incarnate, the big events are then set in stone. There is some energetic wiggle room, sure, but most of what we experience is pre-planned. So you wrote the script and you just forgot it. Even after Earth, the struggle continues. We move up dimensions, and it doesn't mean that we're free. You just shift from one Earth plane suffering to some higher level responsibility. Spiritual growth never stops in this whole thing. The pyramid doesn't end, and here's the ultimate spiritual economy. If the dark side captures a majority of souls, Source has to respond. And it does that by creating more souls, each one a fragment of itself. Tom Campbell calls it a chip off the old block. But Source is not infinite. It can run out. If it keeps giving away pieces to counter the dark, it risks depletion. This is a numbers game with unfathomable stakes, and that's why souls are so valuable. They're both the weapon and the currency in this war. Whoever controls the majority of souls determines who creates the next universe. So if the dark wins, they'll pick their own source, and the next reality will be theirs to shape. After a new universe is created, the war starts all over again, only this time with the rules stacked in favor of darkness. So what can we do? Stay in the light. Positive emotions, love, joy, gratitude, compassion. Generate light energy. Negative emotions, they feed off the dark. The war is happening on the emotional level. Every time that you choose love over hate, peace over anger, growth over despair, well, you're contributing to the light. You're helping Source. Your soul is a processing unit solving emotional equations too complex for Source or the dark to compute. They need you. They input energy into your life, and you process it through experience and emotion. And you output light or dark. This is the same thing that Tom Campbell says. He says, we're in a Closed system, just like Liz says, we're in a Closed system with souls at the core. We're not just living, we're computing spiritual solutions. Damn, this is so close to Tom Campbell and what he said in his MBT theory. He said consciousness is the computer and that we're nothing more than a computational system fighting entropy. And in case you're wondering, Source can't cheat. It can't magically control all the souls and win the battle. Tom Campbell talked about this too, saying it defeats the purpose of the game. Wouldn't be a game if you can control everything. Even though Source knows the answer, the game demands that it goes through you. That's the rule. That's the design. It's why Source created you in the first place. So while you might feel small and powerless, you're actually one of the most important beings in existence. So what's the big takeaway here? This universe is a beautifully mathematical simulation powered by souls. Source created it to process energy and complete the chain, and the dark is trying to hijack the process. And in this grand spiritual equation, your role matters intensely. Every thought, every emotion, every life adds up. Right now, the dark has the upper hand, but we can change that. Not by fighting wars or building temples or attacking Iran, but by processing life in a way that feeds the light. You are not a spectator. You are a generator, a processor, a soul fragment of Source, and the fate of the universe may literally depend on what you choose to feel next. So if you're feeling lost, helpless, and belittled in this grand cosmic game we call life, remember, you have just as much power as Elon Musk, Sam Altman, or Tom Cruise, or whoever you look up to influence the system. In the end, we're all digital batteries for the system in some strange way. Choose the light and avoid the dark. That's what I say. You can start doing that by subscribing to my channel. That one decision will move you more towards the light than almost anything you can do. Seriously. So go ahead and do that right now. I'll wait. Seriously, I'll wait. Thank you. And by the way, if you enjoyed this video, I think you'll love this one right here. It's about how we can find hope in a simulated world, featuring Tom Campbell, and I'll see you there.